This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're interested in free dining, it's back. Yeah, that's right. The free dining plan is back for the fall. If you book by August 14th, 2010, you can get valid on select nights free dining package. It's available on most nights August 15th, 2010 through October 2nd, 2010. All the details and how to book it are available at mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, June 2nd, 2010, and this is episode 728 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. And joining me on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Mike, I got great news.
Yes.
We are the number one downloaded podcast.
Really?
In Guatemala.
In Guatemala. Well, hello, Guatemala.
Buenos dias.
Bienvenidos.
Hola.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
It's a ride. That's a game. It's a game. That's a ride.
Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story, Midway Mania.
That's right, Hockey Puck.
Nice.
Also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, my spies tell me, they actually showed me the cover of the Unofficial Guide 2011. And dude, what are you guys smoking over there in Unofficial Guide land? Because Primeval World again?
Well, as you know, Matt, we're all about redemption over here at the Unofficial Guide. It's how I got my break. It's how a lot of people got their break. And we think that if more people give Primeval World a chance, darn it, it's going to be a really great ride someday.
I appreciate the Unofficial Guide's Puritan work ethic, but at the same time, you have to suffer through Puritan type suffering for your entire life.
Someone once said that Woodrow Wilson Calvin Coolidge looked like he was weaned on a pickle, and that's the attraction that was weaned on a pickle as well. Anyway,
I don't know what you're mad about, Matt. I have to wear it for another year.
Oh,
right.
Marvin's joining us tonight.
Marvin.
That's right.
Marvin.
I got a glimpse of the shirt that I have to wear now.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to keep low, I guess, for your hope for the best in 2012. It's like a bad haircut, just wear a hat and hope no one notices.
Who do I got to pay around here to change my shirt?
Well, it's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions. Maybe Marvin will chime in with an answer.
Oh, great.
And our first is from Terry from Texas, who
Hi,
writes,
Terry.
"Love you guys. Great show. I download several, but only really am obsessed with yours. Just listen to episode 716, where a question about discounts was asked. Matt said you should have an episode with Annette about all kinds of discounts. Love the idea. Also, just listen. By the way, Annette is working on that, so we're going to have that show coming up soon. Also, just listen to the show about holidays in November or December, but it didn't cover the following. We're going down in December. No, not early December. But we will be arriving on the 18th and staying for 7 nights, maybe adding an extra night at the end. Yes, the extra night would be the 25th. We're going with my husband's brother and family, wife and 3 kids, who have never been before. I would love a show about tips to tour during these crowded days. I've already been looking at the Unofficial Guide and the holiday touring plans, especially for these days. We want our newbies to get to experience all attractions when we go. We do usually go for full, long days and love to try to hit all the attractions that we can. We've never done the ultimate touring plan and won't be for this trip, but I guess we normally hit at least 75 to 85% of the attractions.
that's great.
So, Len, what are some good tips, I guess? I mean, we've done episodes about this before, and Terry, you should definitely check out the archives for going when it's really crowded, especially during Christmas. But, Len, what are some general guidelines when you're talking about really crowded touring?
Getting there early is key. So the Magic Kingdom will be open as early as 7 a.m. for morning extra magic hours, and having those 1 or 2 extra hours available definitely makes a difference in getting through all of the bottleneck attractions in Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. By the time most people figure out that the park is open, you'll be well on your way to Frontierland. The interesting thing about that, though, is you'll start to see, like, around 11 o'clock, as the lines grow quickly, people running around everywhere in groups just looking for anything that has a wait of less than 45 minutes. So what you'll see is all of Fantasyland fill up and all of Tomorrowland fill up. And then you start seeing people funnel back towards the front of the park with like Haunted Mansion getting really crowded, and then Hall of Presidents getting really crowded, and Jungle Cruise getting really crowded, and Liberty Bell Riverboat getting really crowded. By the time that's got, by the time Hall of Presidents has a 20-minute wait, you're looking at some of the most crowded times of the year. So getting there early is definitely the key.
Absolutely. Scopa, what's one tip you could offer to someone going during the really busy times like Christmas?
Well, besides what Len said, I would also keep track of which parks have extra magic hour evenings, and on the morning after those parks, I would try to hit those parks too if you weren't going to hit a park with extra magic hour mornings, because a lot of people there's a lot more people in the parks at night than during the day. A lot of people like to sleep in, and like Len said, people don't even know when the parks are open. Sometimes they'll go later in the day, and usually the park that has an extra magic hour evening will have relatively lighter crowds first 2 hours of the following morning. So I would do that. I would also keep in mind that during those holiday times that you really need to be flexible as to when you want to eat, and you need to be aware that the restaurants are going to be filled up rather soon. So if you are going to be traveling at that time, as soon as you can, I'd make the ADRs.
Great. Next email is from Jared from New York, New York. And, of course, Jared's the author of the official WDW Today theme song.
Jared.
And Jared writes, hello, boys. So I was all ready with a question to ask at your last live show in May when my girlfriend pointed out that it was the same day as the Lost series finales. What do you have against Lost fans that you want to shun them and exclude them from your events? Is it because the characters may have traveled back in time and convinced Disney to create Stitch's Great Escape? Well, I'm going to ask my question here. My girlfriend and I are trying something different on our next trip. Instead of rushing to Walt Disney World the second we scrape up enough money, we're actually going to save up for a couple of years and take an amazing 14-day trip, 7 nights at the Polynesian and 6 nights at Animal Kingdom Lodge, around to Food and Wine Halloween season. During this time, our annual passes discounts usually available for Polynesian and Animal Kingdom Lodge. We've never had an annual pass before, but realized how great of a deal it could be, especially if we take a long trip at deluxe resorts.
There's always either an annual pass discount or a AAA discount, and AAA discounts are relatively inexpensive. I think you can join for $40, $45 in most states, and you get that side benefit of actually having someone to call in case there's an emergency. So one of those two things will always be there.
Cool. And, of course, check out sites like, mousesavers.com and other kinds of sites. Obviously, you won't be able to book your trip, 2-3 years out, but at least you can stay on top of things when you know that they're going to be there. And it should be good. Love to play. Next email's from Joey from Normal, Illinois. He writes, hey guys, you guys are awesome. Your show is awesome. But lately I've noticed an awesome gap in the use of the word awesome. Out of respect for Len and his absence, when an awesome idea presents itself on the show, if you guys could just throw out a quick, that's awesome, or how awesome is that? Or even just an idyllically placed interjection of awesome, that would be really awesome. All in jest, of course. Love the show.
That was an awesome email.
Next email is from Kathy in Connecticut.
Awesome.
Who writes 3 questions for Len. If you can answer these questions before my trip, the tequila's on me. If you're in the world, the last weekend of June. Len?
Awesome. Go ahead.
Awesome. For our upcoming trip at the end of June, we have 3 give a day, get a day vouchers that we're planning to turn into special fast passes. How can we use these to their best advantage in each park if we're going to follow a basic touring plan? When a day should we use them? We are a party of 4, me, husband, 5-year-old daughter, and 7-year-old daughter. We'll be taking a midday break at the hotel each day.
I think we've covered the best park to use these at in the past. It's the Magic Kingdom. When you go to the Magic Kingdom, you get 3 fast passes good for either Space, Splash, or Big Thunder Mountain, Peter Pan, or Winnie the Pooh. And then 3 more good for PhilharMagic Jungle Cruise, Stitch's Great Escape, if you ever wanted to ride that, in Buzz Lightyear. And you can choose any. You'll get 3 of each, and you can use them any way you want. So you could ride Space Mountain 3 times, and Buzz Lightyear 3 times. I think the ride or the fast passes make sense in conjunction with one of the unofficial guide's touring plans, because the unofficial guide already gives you low waits to see the most popular attractions. I would use these to give a day, get a day fast passes to re-ride your favorite rides without waiting. Now there are a couple of tips though. One, as soon as you put your special pass in the fast pass machine, the fast pass that you get will be valid for right then. So if you go at 12:05 p.m. and you put your pass in, you'll get a fast pass good for 12:05 p.m. You won't have to wait like 2 hours to get the next one. The other thing is the give a day fast pass tickets won't work. So your card won't work on a ride for which all of the fast passes have been given out for that day. So you have to use them early. So one thing you could do is, as you go to each of the attractions in the touring plan, grab a set of fast passes for that attraction to come back later. And I think that's probably the best step. So when you go to Space Mountain in the morning, grab fast passes for that. When you go to Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain, grab fast passes for that. When you see Buzz Lightyear or Jungle Cruise, grab fast passes for those two, in addition to riding.
Cool. Kathy writes, how will the opening of Harry Potter affect the Disney parks in late June? Will it draw away crowds from the parks or bring people into Orlando who will also visit Disney while they're in the area?
Yeah, I think very few people actually will go to Harry Potter. By the way, if it opens, I hear that there are still testing issues with the attractions. I think it's gonna draw slightly more people to Walt Disney World, or actually maybe a reasonable number more. I don't think anyone's going to go to Universal just for Harry Potter. Some people will, but I don't think the vast majority will.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's Harry. I think Harry Potter is going to be great for Universal. I don't think it's going to draw people. People are not going to say, well, forget Walt Disney World, I'm going to Universal. I think, like you said, Len, maybe some people will say, well, now I'm going to go spend a day at Universal, as you know what I mean, to go check it out.
Right. And the thing we have to remember about Harry Potter, it's 3 rides.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a park.
Right.
Very few people are going to make the trip down for 3 rides.
Right. I don't think
it's the same and just rethemed.
That's a great point, Lon. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. But that being said, I really hope that I hope it blows everybody's expectations away. I hope it does really well. And I hope Universal's attendance skyrockets because I really feel like Disney's been resting on its laurels for way too long. And I really think that competition is healthy, especially for us as the consumer. We only stand to benefit from it. So I'm rooting so badly for it because I really want Universal to be a viable competitor once again with Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I agree.
Kathy adds, does the Unofficial Guide have a plan to release an app with the touring plans available on it?
We're thinking about it. We have Lines, our mobile wait time application. By far the most frequent request that we get from folks is to integrate touring plans into the wait times application. So it's something that we're considering.
Cool. We
have to do it right. You know, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So.
That's right. Next email is from Lisa from Alexandria, Virginia. Who writes, love the podcast. Gives me a little bit of Disney until I can get back. You always have great info, interesting opinions. I love the info that you share with us, but here's the question. Where do you all go to get your info on the scoop? Any favorite websites or blogs that you go to? It's always great to find news sources.
A couple of new places that I've been visiting. So one is the Disney Food Blog for all of my restaurant fixes.
Yes.
So where we found out about the Butterfinger muffin.
Yes.
Which is again proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
And of course, you've heard AJ from the Disney Food Blog on this.
Yeah, AJ's been on here a few times, so I love the Disney Food Blog. I've been reading JL over at the Disney Driven Life, which is pretty fun. Mm-hmm. We had her on the show, and then I always read WDW Magic almost every day.
I mean, WDW Magic's been a site that I've been checking out for years, but my new favorite source for news, not only about Walt Disney World, but also pretty much anything Disney, Stitch Kingdom.
Yes, Ding.
Yes, Brad, who runs Stitch Kingdom, does a great job over there. If you follow him on Twitter, you'll get all the information. Of course, his website has all the information as well. But lots of great information over there, and he usually gets it well in advance. And good friend. He's very nice. So definitely check out his website. Next, anyone want to share anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Newell and Scopa.
Scopa.
First off, all these sites just have rumors, and I don't put much stock in them anymore. So most of if I report anything, it's basically on something I hear directly from Disney, directly from contacts in Disney. And one of the sites that I started to follow a lot more is the DisneyParks.com blog, because I know that Tom, who runs it, Tom Smith, he wants everyone to know that everything that they're putting out is going to be honest, direct, and it's going to be accurate. And so I need to put more stock in that than anything else. And I just, I don't want to be one of those people who says, hey, this is going to happen, and I heard it on this blog, and I don't know what these other bloggers are using for their sources, so I can't trust them.
The rumors, you always got to take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My doctor told me to cut down on salt. So.
Next email is from Becky Kale of Cincinnati, Ohio. And Becky, thank you for writing how to pronounce your last name, because I'm sure I've been butchering it for the last couple of years.
Kale?
Kale. Well, it's spelled Coehl.
Oh, yes. He would butcher that.
Yeah. Okay.
Just writing to see if I can get Mike and Len to sing WKRP in Cincinnati again.
Baby, if you've ever wondered. I was going to sing.
No, seriously.
What became of me?
As much as I enjoy their harmonies, I have a real question. Our family's going to the world with our neighbors Easter 2011. Sure. As there will be 8 of us staying off property at a vacation home. While we'll have a kitchen available, I really do not relish the idea of cooking dinner every night. I'm on vacation too. I would also prefer not to pay Disney prices to eat at their restaurants each evening. So my question to all of you is, where off property do you like to eat? I know all the usual chains are all over iDrive and thereabout, but what about the local places? We're looking for good food, family-friendly, serving alcohol, and not outrageously priced. We plan on heading back to the world each afternoon to rest up and eat before heading back to the parks in the evening. So anything within 20 minutes or so, the parks will be fine.
All right, so let's go over the 4 major food groups here. And by 4 major food groups, of course, I mean pizza, Mexican, Chinese American.
I would really say if you're looking for a place you can't go wrong to get good food and good prices, and by good I mean much better than Disney, Celebration is hard to beat. There's lots of great restaurants. They're almost all very good. I've been to many of them. Prices are very good, and the food is very good. So I would definitely recommend checking out the restaurant Celebrate in the downtown area.
Is that within the 20-minute thing?
Oh yeah, 20 minutes. I mean, Celebration's like as soon as you leave Walt Disney World property, it's maybe like a 5 to 7 minute drive. It's right off, especially if you're coming from like Magic Kingdom Down World Drive. It's right there.
It's right there.
That's right.
Right there.
Len,
maybe the way you drive.
Len,
that's a great place. Newell?
Let's take it out, Len. Ready? I'm at WKRP
in Cincinnati.
God. That's what you get, Becky, for writing that in your email. Next email is from James from Independence, Missouri. With the opening
is that the home of Harry Truman?
It is indeed.
Good.
Sorry.
Good catch there.
The buck does stop there. Go ahead.
With the opening of Epcot's Sum of All
That was a
Thrills
bomb.
occurring fairly recently, I was wondering if any of you had done a podcast about the attractions at the Innovations Pavilion. Specifically, I would love to get some insider info on good, the bad, and the ugly at Innovations, as well as touring strategies for the exhibits. Maybe even a review of the Sum of All Thrills. I've been to Epcot several times in the past few years, but I've never had much time to explore Innovations. I hope to rectify that shortcoming with my next trip to Orlando. In substitute whatever year it is when you finally read this question on the show. Any information you can provide would be useful in planning that trip. That's a great idea about doing an Innovention show. We haven't really done a show specifically about that.
About it? No, we've talked about, I think, all the individual attractions in it, but I don't think we've ever done a show specifically about it.
Yeah. Sum of All Thrills is great. If you haven't heard about it on the show already, definitely check that out. Mm-hmm. There's lots of other good ones. The Money Bank one where
the Great Piggy Bank Adventure.
Yes,
it's a hoot.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The trash one is a lot of fun.
Yes. That is fun.
The trash Velcro exhibit is good too.
Velcro, that's right. And the hurricane one where
the
there's
3D?
Storm Chaser? Storm
I think it is
Storm something.
Yeah, something like that.
Storm Along Bay.
Some of All Storms, something. the great Storm Bank Adventure.
Very nice.
The Great Storm movie ride.
Storm Mountain.
Expedition Storm.
It's not bad. So I will say that the quality of Innoventions exhibits has got much better over the last couple of years. They've moved away from being video game centric. I mean, you can still find video games and stuff.
Right.
Much more towards participation by families, so games that the whole family can play. It started with remember they did one for a while, the pizza quiz game.
I don't remember that one.
It's an Innoventions West. It was a quiz show about where the ingredients from pizza came from, which states, and you had to match up states, sort of like a game of concentration. But ever since then, they've been doing more participatory stuff with families. I really like Innoventions. We should totally do a show on Innoventions.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job. So we'll save that for a show. Good idea. Then we'll be sitting around saying, "What was that show we were supposed to do?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We should do it from Innoventions.
there you go. Even
We
better.
totally should.
Next email is from Brian Fikes of Wettapiquin, Maryland. Oh, P.S. I'm really from Fruitland, Maryland, but Wettapiquin is near me, and I want to hear Matt sweat that one out. Thanks, Brian.
Nice.
Question for you about Mickey's Toontown Fair. My family is planning a trip down to Walt Disney World to see Fantasyland in its current state and Duckburg one more time before it goes away forever. My kids 3 and 5, as of this writing, hopefully they won't be in college by the time you read this, love Mickey and Minnie's house and Donald's boat. Any chance they'll still be open come late spring 2010, or do you think they'll be demolished earlier?
Late spring.
Sure.
Yeah.
Late spring 2010?
That's
Yeah,
2011.
no, 2010. We're a little late on this one. So, yes, I think he's still around.
Yeah, so what I've heard is the Toontown should be around through the end of the year. That's the latest on that. I could totally be wrong, but that's actually it's what we heard from an inside Disney source for the unofficial guide. So I'm reasonably confident that that's going to be somewhat accurate.
Next email is from Mike from
Hiya, Mike.
mouseextra.com. Writes, hello, boys and Annette. This is a question about a trip planned in September 2010, so hopefully you'll get to it before I go. I plan on going for 4 days in September around the time of free dining. I'm also going in January of 2010. I'm a Disney Vacation Club member, so I'll be using points. I know I need to purchase tickets to get free dining. The question is, do I get an annual pass and the dining discount, or buy Magic Your Way tickets and get free dining in September? I'm going with a large group in January and will not be getting the dining plan. What's the best course of action? Good question. Scope, what do you think about that?
What was it again? What was the two choices again? I want to make sure I.
Yeah, he's going to... The question is, do I get an annual pass and the free dining discount, or buy Magic Your Way tickets and get free dining in September? So, sorry, the annual pass, you get certain dining discounts with the annual pass.
Mm-hmm.
Go that route. Or get free dining and go that route. And go with
The Magic Your Way.
Right.
Depends upon where you're staying. I think. I think we agree that free dining works best with value resorts.
Right.
So in that case, if he's going to stay at a value resort, then I'd go with the Magic Your Way and free dining. Although that means that if he doesn't get an annual pass, he will be losing out on other discounts. So I don't know. It's. I think he has to weigh everything, where they want to stay, where they're going to eat. There are all kinds of variables that come into play. But again, if they're going to stay at a value, I'd say go with the Magic Your Way and the free dining. But they need to figure that out real soon and make their ADRs.
I like the... I prefer the annual pass route personally. I think you can navigate some things over there, and it's obviously going to work to your advantage there as being a Disney Vacation Club member because you get a great deal on the annual pass to begin with. So that's going to put you right in a good spot to start with. And of course, something comes up between now, September 2010 and September 2011 when your annual pass would expire. Good airfare, good opportunity to come down. You got that annual pass, boom. You've got extra benefit to go down and get more value out of it. So,
well, here's the other thing: when you have free dining, I wish Annette was here to figure this out. So, if you have free dining and you go into you're given so many dining credits. It's been a while since I've had free dining. So, if you go into a signature restaurant, you're using 2 dining credits. Is that better than going into a restaurant with Tables of Wonderland and getting 20% off? I don't know.
Yeah. It's something it's something we cannot say. You have to know so much about the details, and it's hard for us to generalize for anything. You have to really know.
You really have to know what you're eating. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Not only
you get other restaurants.
Yeah.
Good. Next email is from Cassie Williams from Auckland, New Zealand. Hey, Newell, we're #1 in New Zealand also. Did
That's
I mention
right. Woo!
Guatemala, New Zealand.
that? Taking over the world one small nation at a time. I was just listening to episode 614 about tipping and wanted to share my experience as a cast member working at counter service locations. I worked on the college program at the All-Star Movies food court in 2003. The official, and she puts that in quotes, rules were to not accept tips, and if the guest insisted, not to keep tips and give them to the managers to put towards a charity. I was tipped about 5 times by guests who had left bigger messes in the dining area, usually families with small children throwing food or large school groups. I was also given tips by grateful, tired parents when I entertained their kids with a few jokes or Disney facts. The first time I was tipped, I declined the tip, but the guests insisted, so I thanked them and went to find the manager later to ask him about the charity fund. He smiled and took it and put it on the pocket of my apron and kept walking. I don't know if the other managers are as loose with the tipping policy, but thanks to the tips, I ate plenty of ramen noodles. The college program didn't pay much. Love the show. It makes my long plane rides and exercise much more tolerable. Keep up the great works, guys. Thank you, Cassie. Appreciate that. And I'm here, and it's time for our last question of the day. And that means I will give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. 1 gets read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Are you ready, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right, your options are, am I right to abandon my beloved Scopa Towers?
Ooh.
Len, how could you be so wrong?
Please.
Thanks, Newell, for ushering in a new age of understanding and cooperation.
What?
It's from Spaceship Earth.
All right, because
So,
of Len's reaction, I'll take that one, the third one.
Last email of the day is from Jim in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro. Bureau. Swear to God.
Gratitudes and platitudes for your great show. I think we can all agree that from the reaches of space to the depths of the sea, we have spun a vast electronic network linking ourselves as fellow passengers together on this, our spaceship Earth.
Thank you, Walter Cronkite.
Beautiful.
I think that we can also agree that the culmination of this vast electronic network is listening to Mouse World Radio on a cell phone.
Exactly. I say the same thing. All the time.
I really want an iPhone badly, but for work reasons, it's better for me to have a Verizon affiliated phone. If I understand correctly, there is now a Mouse World Radio app for the iPhone that allows you to listen to Mouse World Radio. Is there such an app for other smartphones, such as the Droid? Thanks again for a great show, and thanks for creating a better world for today, tomorrow, and tomorrow's child.
Come on, Len. Tomorrow's child.
Now you got to sing it like an echo.
Child.
Tomorrow's child, tomorrow. Anyway, so Noel, can we listen to Mouse World Radio on other smartphones, such as the Droid?
You can. If it's easier, if you just send me an email to studio@mouseworldradio.com, I can reply with directions on how to listen on the Droid. It would take forever for me to read it out online on the air here. So send me an email. I'll send you back Droid information. BlackBerry. There's all kinds of different apps, radio apps that you can download for your specific smartphone. But if you email me individually, I will give you the information.
You should next time you see Becky Newell, you should steal her phone for like 20 minutes
And break it?
and she'll have well, that too. But when she's having her aneurysm because it's out of her hands for more than 2 seconds,
Right.
You should do a little YouTube video of kind of explaining, like how our friend Mikey did that one of the back in the day. Remember the F-Stream app
The F-Stream.
for iPhone?
I still use that on my iPod Touch. It does work. So I use it just to test it, but it does work. It's very similar to that.
Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget, this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by Mouse Fan Travel. Woo! And, we had mentioned earlier, in one of our emails, I think it was Mike from MouseExtra.com, he mentioned the free dining package. And you could be like Mike and book the free dining package. It is back. It's valid for select nights August 15th, 2010 through October 2nd, 2010. So if you think the free dining package is right for you, and maybe if you have questions about it, it's okay. You don't know, have someone at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel help you. Guess what? It's free. The cost to you. You got to pay for the room, but the services provided are free. So they can help you determine if it's the right package for you, or if you're going to be better off maybe with a different kind of discount. Either way, check them out at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.